comics would come up, and I never want to ever see anybody fail. Because I don't know, has anyone here ever done comedy? Seriously?
Living life.
Frank, have you ever Frank,
We got two at our table.
seriously, Frankie D, have you ever stood up in front of a crowd and actually made anyone laugh? I'm kidding, he was great. No, I'm kidding. They were great, they were awesome. No, the thing is, it's so hard, and when you're standing in front of a room full of people, and let me tell you something about open mic. Some nights you're working a room that's got 9 people in it, 8 comics and a fucking bartender. That's not a joke, that's just what you're doing, and you're trying to be funny. So these comics would see me now. I was on a list of like 40 guys and girls, and because I was good, not to toot my own horn, but I was fucking good. I would be one of the first acts to come out if I wasn't hosting after the headliner at a Comedy Works or a place like that. So I'd have a crowd of 350, 400 people. I had no problem getting up there and just riffing and ripping their room apart and having a great time. So these comics would come up to me after the show and they would say, "What are you doing so much differently than I am? What can I do to make my act better?" I remember this one young fella, his name was Butch. I don't know his last name because he wasn't funny enough for me to remember his last name. Let me tell you something. The guy that played Donkey in Shrek, that Eddie Munster or whatever his name is, I know his name. But this guy Butch was not funny. And his problem was he literally ended every joke with, "I don't know there, insert topic." So let's say he wanted to say, "What's up with that Jeff cap you got on there, Rick?" "I don't know there, Rick." That was the joke. So he sits down. I never was a drinker, so I always had a Pepsi in front of me or a Coke, and I'm sitting there sipping my Cuba Libre, non-alcoholic version. And he says, "Can I please ask you a question?" I said, "Absolutely, Butch. What do you need?" He says, "What do I need to do to get funnier on stage?" I said, "Butch, don't take this the wrong way, but you need to add punchlines to your jokes." To which Butch responded, "Ha ha ha, no, seriously, what do I need to do?" So I responded, "I don't know there, Butch." Another young lady approached me and she sat across from me as I was enjoying my generic Cuba Libre because they were using Shasta or something that night. Budget cuts, something about, taxes or something on soda in Philadelphia, I don't know. So anyway, she sits down and she says, "Can you help me sculpt my act a little bit?" So I said, "Sure." I said, "Where's all your jokes?" Because she got up every week and did the same 5 minutes. I always got up and did 10, 15 minutes, but it was always different. I was trying shit out before I went out in the world and had someone pay me for my jokes. And she had the same 5 minutes. I said, "Well, for starters, you need more jokes." She said, "Hand to God, right hand to God, but from the left side, so I look better." The guy that wrote all of my jokes moved away. I was like, "You didn't even write your own jokes?" She's like, "Does anybody?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I said, "All right, let's do some stuff." Boom, boom, boom. I write her a 30-minute routine, and it only took me 4 minutes. That's how fucking good I was back then. I write her this routine, and a year later, I'm watching the Prism Comedy Spotlight show. I think it was on HBO. I'm kidding, it was on Prism. She got it. And who's on opening for Joe fucking Conklin but this girl? Telling all the jokes that I wrote her. In an unrelated story, I heard this same young woman contracted chlamydia from Joe Conklin. I just want to let everybody know, if I haven't said something already, I suffer from short-term memory loss, so I apologize if I tell the same jokes again. But anyway, the short-term memory loss is a side effect from so much radiation in my frontal cortex and And Rick will tell you it's also called chemo brain. You just anything from prior to my radiation, I'm sharp as a tack. I have an alphabetic memory. I can remember the whole alphabet from A to Z, nothing else. But no, seriously, anything after the radiation, sometimes I need to write notes down. Hence, I don't want to go into that fucking book. I want to be able to pull the energy off of this crowd and be able to do it without having to go to that. But anyhow, having terminal cancer, it's devastating. When you find out that you're gonna die, it's like a kick in the gut. I know it's a kick in the nuts is what it is. And here's the thing. It sucks for me, but it sucks for my family. They don't want to embrace that reality because it's a harsh reality. But I've been terminal now for 2 years.